Nathan's been working on this tile, looking really good. Got it wrapped all the way to the ceiling. Elijah just finished these last couple pieces, and now we're going to try using up some of this mortar before it starts skinning over and set this bench. So this Schluter Curdy, you just have to overlap it 2 inches with this thin set behind it. This is the mortar I like using with it. Schluter All Set. In our area, it's almost $60 a bag, but it's worth it. You can use other ones. They have a list of different types of mortar you can use for it. Schluter does. But this one just works so well with their membrane. I don't always use that for setting the tile though, just because it's so expensive. Most $30 to $40 bags work quite well with it too. So you spread it on, mix it to the instructions, and then smooth out all the air bubbles. And they say you don't have to overlap top over bottom, but I like to, just for the extra precaution. So this has a 2-inch overlap there, but it does not here, so we'll add a strip in the corner to cover that. I have this flap up because I want it to overlap the pan, just because the shower head is going to be mostly pointing right at that bench. So I wanted this overlap there and this overlap there. Just guys. Even though here it's not going to overlap it, but it doesn't have to. So this is above and beyond, and that is perfectly fine.
Hello. What's up? My fingers are
I like your shirt. Pleased to meet you. Let's catch up later.
Yeah.
It looks as messy as your dad's shirt, except yours is printed, his is custom.
Mine's custom.
So for these, I like overlapping over bottom, even though you don't have to, because I like wrapping the corners. And when you do, if your bottom is overlapping your top, you can't, I mean you can, but a lot of the times you don't always get a perfect overlap seal where you come in the corners.
Okay.
So if the bottom was over the top, there could be like a ripple in it.
Yeah.
That's going to catch water and sit there. So even though you don't have to overlap top over bottom, I like to because I wrap the corners. You don't have to wrap the corners though. You could start the membrane right there and then run a band all the way down.
Okay.
But then you use more material. So it's more efficient this way, I think, and ends up costing less and still performs just as well. So we're gonna set this pan first, put the all set down there, set it in place centered on the drain, and then I'm gonna slope a mud bed from here up to there. And then once that's set tomorrow, we can add membrane over top of it. So from this wall that way will be just a flat slope, and then we'll do our X pattern in the tile just on that square. I don't think it'll look weird. I think It'll make sense because it's center on the square part of the drain.
Hello. That hole there on the left, are you just filling it in?
Yeah, because we got backer down there.
Okay.
Wood backer.
So essentially you're tiling in a piece of styrofoam.
Huh?
Essentially you're tiling in a piece of styrofoam.
Yeah. I actually don't remember what size trowel you're supposed to use for this part, but I'm just making sure to go kind of thick on it because the floor is not perfect.
Is it on the bag?
Probably. But this works fine. I want it to have a little bit of excess to float over the dips. Like right here where the floor leveler was in. But it still has full support. That's the main thing, you want it to be draining towards the middle and have support under the whole thing.
You don't want those plastic tubs that bounce up and down in this hole.
Well, it would just break over time.
The outside edges of the corner, for sure.
I got my knee pad pants today.
Did you put the knee pads in?
I've been in on these ones.
Oh, okay, you don't take them out? Have you found that you like them? Or
Yeah,
are they kind of
if I need them. If I don't, then they're a little obnoxious, but not really. It doesn't really get in the way.
It's a lot better than having to wear knee pads that wrap around.
Yeah. Which full knee pads are a lot better if you're going to be on like a tile floor the entire day. But just for like an hour, a couple hours, then these ones are great.
I think I like the little pads they have better than knee pads.
I just don't like the strap around the back of your knee.
That's why they have those, they're like maybe 2 feet wide by like a foot.
Yeah. Attacked?
By a cement seagull.
Alright. Can you hand me the tray? This one?
I did not bump the camera.
I was just making sure it's still recording. And next we're going to add some of this thin set that we just used to set the pan. We're going to put it on the ground here as a slurry because the Schluter all set bonds to wood fine, but the dry pack mortar does not. So we use this as an interfacing layer. This will bond to the wood and the dry pack will bond to the thin set. So we're just going to mix up a half a bag. It comes in 50 pounds. I don't think we'll even need the full half bag. We'll see. And this is just the sort of inexpensive from Home Depot custom float bedding mortar, but it works totally fine.
It's a gallon and a half, right?
Gallon and a half is a half bag. Okay, so we just checked our level across this whole thing, and it's all half a bubble slope down this way. And our highest points are that corner and that corner, which is exactly what I wanted. So there's not going to be any puddling or buildup up there. And we're using 12 by 24 tiles here anyways, large format, so I'm not concerned about it regardless. But this would, it's done well enough that it would work fine for even a small mosaic tile or like. And then this, I'm just going to clean out this squeeze out. Oh, could add a little to the hole. And then when we are ready to set the drain here, and then we'll add mortar and set the drain in. So that's it for today, Wednesday. They're all cleaning up right now, and we're gonna head out. But I just wanted to get to this point where our shower pan was set and our slope was set, so that tomorrow we can come back with the rest of the mortar we have and adhere this wall down, that wall down, put a membrane over this to waterproof it, and get those corners and edges. So that's where we're almost to.
Just check all the nail holes, like see how this is right here? That's
Right here on this membrane, I was just scraping the edges of this pan, and I cut through it with my tool. You have to be really careful working with this membrane, because if you cut it or rip it, you gotta put a patch over it, otherwise it's gonna leak. At least I've noticed though, so once I put this down, I can put a little patch over the cut. It's not really a big deal, but only if you patch it. And that's also why we're gonna do a flood test on this, make sure it's not leaking before we tile. We're trying to figure out tile layout, and it's a pain. Because we have this is at a height, this is at a height, this is at a height, and this is at a height. And we're running the tile horizontal, so the horizontal grout lines will travel around the entire shower. So we're trying not to have a sliver there, trying not to have a sliver here or here, and not one there or there, and not one there or there. So it's a lot of things that we're looking at. Finished with waterproofing. It is complete. Got around the window. I just set the drain base. So that's gonna set up overnight, and then tomorrow when we leave, tomorrow's Friday, but tomorrow when we leave we can plug that, flood this to do a leak test over the weekend. For now I'm just gonna cover it so I don't accidentally step on it and mess it all up. I'm still going to try to avoid stepping there. But we have our laser line height. The laser's just off right now. We're going to fasten ledger boards all the way around. And for today, it's already 3:30, but today we're just going to try to set our one row of horizontal tiles going around the whole thing. And then tomorrow we can remove those ledger boards and we can tile up from there, and we'll be good. And patch over the where we did the screws. And then next week after our flood test, if that goes well, which it should. So we finally settled on a layout that I'm okay with. we've got most of our first row in. This is the only part that we didn't do. We just ran out of mud and it's quitting time, so added a couple up there too. So we're wrapping the corners. This piece gets cut to length and then the excess wraps around the corner. Same over here. This was cut to length and then the excess wrapped around the corner. So that's the way we're doing that. And this veining is so weird and random on these tiles that even the piece that was cut off from it, like where it cut is just, it doesn't even look like it's the same tile even though it is. It's weird. But I think it's gonna look good overall. So we have our ground line is going to be somewhere up here. We'll just have an L cut out of the 4 different corners, so we don't have any really difficult cuts around that. And then this should get one more full one, and then around 9 or 10 inch tile there, and then also a 9 or 10 inch tile will go up there. So it'll be a little notch cut, and then a full 12 inch, and then a notch cut. So that'll look good. Our bottom tile here is we're gonna have a full one there, and then our bottom tile will be about that tall, which is good because we'll, get these set and then do our flood test, and then set the floors, and then cut these tiles to fit in on the floor perfectly. Because the floors around the perimeter is all a little bit different height, even though we got it pretty good on level, but it'll be a little different. So then we can scribe and cut those bottom wall tiles to fit that floor really good. Okay, it's Wednesday of week number 5 of our 4-week remodel. Did you catch that one, Nathan? He's busting up. And it's not just because we're slow, it's because there's a lot of changes. We ended up replacing every door. There's a handful of different changes that we had to incorporate and take care of. So we're actually pretty close to on track with what I guessed in my guesstimate. So our pan is done. It's been done for a while. Hardened up nicely. Nathan's been working on this tile. Looking really good. Got it wrapped all the way to the ceiling. Elijah just finished these last couple pieces, and now we're going to try using up some of this mortar before it starts skinning over and set this bench. And then we're going to lay out for this floor. So we have to do an envelope cut in this square, this 4-foot square, and then we'll have tiles just slope down over in that area. So I already measured out this cardboard, so it's a template. It's not the full size of the shower, it ends about right here, but that's fine because I really just need this to mark my envelope cut over the main section. So I'm gonna pull measurements off the wall, measure where our center is, mark that here, and then I'll actually just lay tiles out on the ground and then set this on top of them to mark the corners, and then I can draw a big X through it, and then I know where all my tile cuts are. Then we can cut one piece, set it, starting at the drain and working out. Cut the next piece, set it, make sure it fits, adjust if we need to. So we'll Sharpie mark all of our cuts on these tiles before we set any of them, but we're not going to cut all of them. We're just going to cut one at a time and then adjust our marks if we need to. Sometimes you need to, but if you get your template close enough to the actual floor and you just are mocking up your tiles, if you get the spacing really good, there will probably be some adjustment just because the floor is sloped. And then you can do it. These tiles, it's really important to skim coat. We found doing a skim coat on the wall and then putting the notches in the tile all with the same direction as the short side of the tile. And then you slap it down and push on it and slide it into place. These have been adhering really well doing that. Even though this mortar on the mix they tell you to do, ratio of water to mortar, it makes it pretty thick, but it's still nice and sticky. It just takes a lot of effort to collapse the ridges. Okay, so cardboard fits nicely. It only comes to about there, but I'm not worried about that. So I've got maybe a 1/4 inch all the way around, which is good because our floor tile doesn't have to go tight to the wall. So we have a good 1/2 inch, maybe a little more, of the thickness of this wall tile that's going to overlap it. So I'm fine cutting my floor tile with a 1/4 inch clearance, no problem at all. So this cardboard fits really good. I'm happy about that. We're probably not going to have to make a lot of adjustments during setting the tile. So next is just to make sure I get my drain mark in the right spot. So this is 24 inches from that edge, and that edge. So it falls really close there.
Where are you putting that?
I'm going to cut next to it. Check. I can feel the opening all the way around. I think we're pretty much dead center. I can feel the edge. Maybe I'll about that's where the drain is. So I guess I'm off a little bit. I maybe need to go about there. But we have a lot of wiggle room with the Schluter ring and how it fits. But those are the marks of where the edge of the actual drain pipe is. Looking pretty good. So next I'm going to take some of this floor tile and lay it out this direction, breaking on our thirds like the rest of the pattern. And we don't have to, but I'm going to match the pattern. So how this staggers on the wall, third, then this one, this next row down, breaks here on a third, and that's going to wrap, switch tile type from the brown to gray, and then third there, and then this is going to go a third over here, and then a third down there where it wraps down to the floor. So I'm going to do my best to make it so that stagger carries from the wall up here all the way down the wall, in the bench, and into the floor this way. And I'm doing it off of this wall, and it's probably not going to line up on this wall properly. But this is the one you see when you walk in. The focal. Walk in, you see this, which we're wrapping that tile on this pony wall, and you'll see the niche there, and you'll see the bench, and it'll look much more cohesive if you pay attention to the grout lines. So the next tile on this wall is going to be this color tile, but I'm carrying that grout line through, like I was just talking about, I guess. So 7 7/8 is our measurement for this tile and these grout lines that we're going with, 3/16 grout line. So mark that 7 7/8, and then we're going to go another from that mark. It's going to go another 7 7/8, which is there. And that'll carry down 12 inches, or the width of the tile. So this is our grout line for this piece of tile. This piece of tile is full length, grout line there, and then this piece of tile is cut, grout line right here, and we're going to wrap this down to the floor. And we might even get our width here. So that's going to be a 4.25 inch piece of tile. So we might rip our floor tile here to 8 inch, so that we have a 4 and an 8, like it's wrapping down, even though it's changing style. But I want to see how that makes this floor layout look. Because more important to me than this wrapping down would be the center of the drain making sense. We're gonna have a grout line here and here.
It's not exactly a 12 and 24, right? Because it's off an eighth each
Right,
way.
but just for the layout purposes, we know we're gonna be there. Spam likely. Not answering likely. So we'll still carry this grout line down from the wall.
The staggering.
Yeah, and wrap it like that.
Okay.
But it'll just be a little bit narrower piece than a full 8 inch.
Okay.
So we'll start with a half piece on this edge.
Gotcha.
Okay, so using our template, we now have our diagonal cut right on that drain center. Happy with that. It goes to our edges. Our grout spacing when we set the tile is going to have to be just ever so slightly wider than it is right now, like a 32nd maybe. But that's not going to be a problem. That'll be easy to do. So we have our edge line marked. We have our diagonals, we have our drain center, and we have our chamfered miter edge here. Usually I'll line up my floor pan centered like on the floor tiles, but in this case I think it's going to look a lot better carrying that grout line pattern through the wall, through the bench, through that wall, and then through the floor. I think that's going to flow really nicely and look good. And we were able to get this centered, so we have same width tile on each end there, and then we're continuing that wall layout through the floor. So I think it's going to look really good. So now we have our tiles marked where they need to be cut, and we'll start with the center one. Start with the one on the drain. Get that set with the drain, and then start doing the ones around it one at a time and make sure our diagonal lines up with where it actually falls into place in the pan. Bathtub's going in place. Good to see it.
I can lift my end.
We'll have to pull it out of the way to do the trim, but I want to see it.
What is it?
Yeah.
But our drain does not look.
The floor drain is not centered on that because it has an extension tube to go into it. So we just center it in the opening. That's too far back
Well,
because the faucet goes over there.
oh, there's gonna be faucet.
Yeah, so it goes somewhere around there. And we'll go line it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Once we get it lined up, after we do our baseboard so it's not in the way,
Yeah.
and our faucet,
Clean up.
then we'll be able to line it up perfect and caulk around the bottom.
Level it.
Then it won't move.
Yeah.
Nathan got these cuts all started for our envelope cut. It's gonna look great. So we have to make sure our edge tiles are lined up good. So I don't know exactly where we'll start with setting the tile. We might start in the middle, or I don't know. We'll kind of have to do everything at once. But first we're going to do these and these. And probably this one too at an angle, and that one at an angle, and then start setting the floor so that we're not walking on it or whatever. That's coming along nice. Mostly done with the flooring in this master bedroom. Maya's just finishing the closet there. We got all the way to the edge under the doorway. That'll continue through the hallway. Oops, there's our baseboard. This is done. So we're ready to set the vanity up here. We have to bring it upstairs and ready to set the toilet in. Well, we want to do our baseboard around there first and then toilet. I just set those back tiles on the bench, and I set this bottom tile at a slope on the niche. I'm about to set those ones on a slope and then start laying these. I've got about 30-ish minutes before I have to leave for the day, so I'm gonna get as much of this in as possible, and then Nathan's gonna be back later and finish wherever I leave off. We've got Chuck started flooring in this room. Pain to go around these closets, but and then this room will be next. It works out good to start on that wall because it ends with an almost full flooring piece at the door transition. Heater is connected and working well. Happy about that. We're going to come back with some hot mud and fill some of these receptacle boxes, and where this drywall is busted in a couple spots. Vanity's going in right now. So our corner beam kind of interfered with putting the vanity in, so we're going to patch that. Probably with hot mud. We'll see if we can make it look right. And if not, then we'll just replace that whole piece of corner bead. But the vanity will be in today. We don't have the faucet yet though, but it'll be, mostly connected and in place. And then hopefully the baseboard and toilet today too. And then the trim. Trying to get most of the trim in today and get mostly done with the flooring. So we might have one room left of flooring to do tomorrow, which is Friday of the 5th week. And my goal is to be substantially complete tomorrow, which I think we will be. Because we got our bathtubs in place. We got the floor nice and level under it. So it won't take long to connect that faucet and the drain for it. It won't take long to set that vanity in because it's ready. We don't have the mirrors, we don't have the lights yet, so that's something we have to wait on. There's a handful of things that we're still waiting on for delivery, like the barn door going to the master bathroom. So we'll be done with the majority of the work. We'll be 90% complete by the end of this week, as long as we can get that flooring and the tile in. And then we'll just have to go out and do our caulking in the shower. And it'll be good. So we're coming along. There's a lot to get done in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. And we might have to go into next week before we're substantially complete, maybe Monday, but we're really close. We're really close. I'm pretty happy with the timeline so far on this job. This is pretty big to do, a lot of hours, a lot of man hours, but my estimate for hours is it's going to be pretty close to our actual. I might have underestimated just a little bit. Some of that was just not realizing how inefficient the upstairs versus downstairs and the layout of the house, and how much extra time you really spend going up and down. And so we're trying to have tools upstairs next to where we need them, but sometimes it's just not practical. It makes more of a mess than it's worth. But we're learning. Every house is so different. It's hard sometimes. Friday, week number 5. We're just cleaning up, but Nathan finished the rest of this floor tile. It turned out very nice. Happy with it. So next week, I'm leaving to Japan, but Nathan's going to finish this tile around here, around the window, and do the tops there, and then grout it. We have to wrap these liners too. But just to show my progress, end of week number 5. Bathtub is just set in place right now. The drain's not connected yet, or the faucet, but that's happening Monday. We got the vanity up here, and we have to glue the basins into it. So we got the adhesive today for that. And we're still waiting for the mirrors and lights to come in the mail. They'll come sometime next week. And then we'll finish trim out on these outlets and lights and add some shelving in here and downstairs too. But that's ready for the toilet. Well, trim, I guess. We have most of the trim. We'll have to buy a little bit more. Flooring is done through the master bedroom, and we just picked up the rest today to finish the hallway in both of these bedrooms. This one and this bedroom are done into the closet too, so they're ready for base. We'll have to redo this piece here because it has to come all the way to the edge, but pretty minor. This protection is all coming up either today or Monday. Getting this stuff all off the floors now. So really getting close to a finished product. There's a lot of things to do still, but they're all little things. It adds up for sure, but we're getting to the final stage. Probably next week while I'm gone, it's going to be substantial finish. So here's the vanity. Our corner bead kind of prevented our vanity from going in, so we had to notch it, and we'll have to patch there and right there above the baseboard. And then this is going to get some more shelves and a cover over those valves. Put the toilet's in downstairs. It's hooked up and everything. It's looking really nice. Also waiting on those lights and mirror to come in the mail.
Maybe you'll help us edit our video.
Water heater's good. We're gonna patch some of this stuff with hot mud. That drywall was busted. And this needs fire taping still, but that's just a few hours worth of work. So we're coming to the end of this one. Pretty close. Very happy with how it's turning out and the end product and paint colors and choices and finishes that the homeowner picked. I did consult a little bit, so try to make sure things would not clash and would actually look good and be good quality materials. But anyways, probably get some more clips next with me not here, of them finishing up. Hopefully if they remember. We'll see.